Hello, everyone. If you don't know me, I'm Dale, Director of Special Programs for Revel. Every month I create this event called EyeCandy, Down the Rabbit Hole of Visual Wonders. If you're new to EyeCandy, kick your shoes off. There's nothing for you to do. We're here to take you out of your quotidian routine and to remind you to look around at the incredible diversity of life and the gifts that creative folk, artists, and scientists bring even in the face of an enduring worldwide epidemic. So relax, take a deep breath, and forget all your worries, problems, and responsibilities. This hour is dedicated to your enjoyment. Here we have 30 flavors. I'm going to unwrap the candy box. This is a little taste of what you're going to get, and it's time to proceed. This is a short film featuring Lil Buck, a choreographer and dancer based in Los Angeles, here dancing at the Fondation Louis Vuitton in Paris for the exhibition Icons of Modern Art. Moths. These are takeoff flight sequences captured at 6,000 frames per second. By the way, all the moths in this video were unharmed and released after filming. I'm going to apologize here for this lengthy explanation, but I think it's needed and also fascinating. Researchers at MIT's Media Lab have created a dome from silk fibers woven by a robotic arm, which was then finished by live silkworms. The team attached tiny magnets to the heads of silkworms so they could motion track their movements. They used this data to program a robotic arm to deposit silk on metal panels. These panels were arranged to form a dome which was suspended from the ceiling. 6,500 live silkworms were then introduced to the structure. As the caterpillars crawled over the dome, they deposited silk fibers and completed the structure. The silkworms were found to migrate to darker and denser areas, and this tendency was used to inform variations in material across the surface of the structure. A season-specific sun path diagram mapping solar trajectories in space dictated the location, size, and density of apertures within the structure in order to lock in rays of natural light entering the pavilions. The central oculus is located against the east elevation and may be used as a sun clock. Media Lab director Neri Oxman believes that by studying natural processes such as the way silkworms build their cocoons, scientists can develop ways of 3D printing architectural structures more efficiently than can be achieved by current technologies. Addressing the looming crises of climate migration and homelessness, Mario Cucinella Architects teamed up with the 3D printing company WASP to design a low-carbon home that's easily and quickly reproduced. Called Tekla, Tecla, the prototype is a pair of sloping domes that can be built in only 200 hours using an average of 6 kilowatt hours of energy. It's made of layers of coiled clay, which is sourced from a nearby river that serves as thermal insulation for the earthen structure, complete with a living area, kitchen, and sleeping quarters. 2 skylights embedded in the roof of the 14-foot tall domes allow light to enter the 200 square foot space. 3D printing in clay on an architectural scale. Paper artist Asia Kozina was inspired by the decadent wigs found in Baroque and Rococo still lifes, tall masses of hair adorned with objects that represent the ideals of luxury and beauty in the 17th and 18th centuries. Her series Skyscraper on the Head imagines how these outdated accessories might look if produced today, replacing the exotic fruits and birds of early centuries with airplanes, skyscrapers, and ships. New Jersey-based artist Willie Cole juxtaposes ready-made footwear and African tradition in his series of sculptural masks. The figurative assemblages stack women's heels into clusters that are expressive and distinctly unique. This video, 6 minutes long, is called Simulacra. An aging geisha recalls the rituals of her past and goes on a journey to revisit her younger selves. Simulacra was created by Los Angeles-based filmmaker Curry Sikon Tian and won the title of Best Alternative/Experimental Film at the 47th Student Oscars. Tian was born and raised in China. Her work bridges the gap between Eastern and Western cultures.
天と地の恵み、両親の恵み、仲間の恵み、法の恵み。私たちは妄想を知恵に変え、欲を寛大に、恨みを感謝に、不和を調和させ、憎しみを思いやりに変えます。私たちは心から祈っています。
This is a photograph by Mirka van Ranswood. She's a Dutch full-time mom and part-time photographer. This is a quote: "We constantly have to relate to both the spiritual and the material world. Finding a balance between the two is an ongoing search that starts all over again as soon as we think we have found it. During this project, in which images were made of oil droplets on water, dominating and receding movements were clearly present. One moment the oil withdrew and the water dominated, the next oil drops joined together and the roles reversed. The continuous movement created an ever-changing reality. The oil and the water constantly had to re-relate to each other. This balance gives me a sense of peace and creates a space where I can be my true self." This is the work of Monica Rohan. She's an Australian artist working, I believe, in colored pencil. And if you are familiar with the French artist Edouard Vuillard, who was a post-impressionist, these remind me so much of his work. This is Levitation. It's a dance performance created for the show Bolshoi Ballet for Russia KTV. The video went globally viral, receiving over 5 million views within a month. All the visuals were rendered in real time without any post-production. The graphics and dance moves were designed simultaneously, and special graphics and an unconventional shooting angle were used to create an illusion of the dancer levitating in air. Neil Mendoza's work combines sculpture, electronics, and software to bring inanimate objects and spaces to life. He explores themes of the absurd, the humorous, the futile, and the surreal. This piece is called Hamster-Powered Hamster Drawing Machine. Mendoza says, quote, "This is the machine hamsters everywhere have been waiting for, finally bringing workout selfies to the animal kingdom." Architecture Studio HAL, H-A-L, has created a 150-foot high transparent swimming pool bridge between two buildings in Battersea, London. The bridge spans 50 feet between the 10th floors of two residential blocks that were recently completed near the U.S. Embassy. The pool was designed to respond to the movement of the buildings while supporting the weight of water and being impacted by wind due to its height. Structures on both sides of the pool are supported on bridge bearings that allow the structure to move in all directions as the two buildings move. Fabio Friedli uses 3,000 pictures in a montage that distills the story of human existence in just under 5 minutes. He starts from a seed and then takes us into the birth of human consciousness through World War II, through to the computer age, and ends up with a microchip. Quote, "It's such an excessive amount of things shown in such a short time, you are never able to perceive everything. I like to believe it's one's subconscious that chooses what you see, hear, and feel. No one has the same first experience with, in a nutshell." San Francisco-based photographer Beth Moon captures some of the world's oldest living trees against the shimmering Milky Way in remote areas of Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa. In Heisenberg Objects, Fabian Offner translates quantum mechanics' uncertainty principle into a sculptural series of segmented objects. The Connecticut-based artist uses resin to solidify everyday items before slicing them into countless individual pieces. He then aggregates those fragmented parts into dissected sculptures that resemble the original object through a distorted view of the inner and outer mechanisms. Quote, "As an observer, you are never able to observe the object as a whole and its inner workings simultaneously. The more accurately we see one view, the less clearly we see the other." This is Thomas Heatherwick's Seed Cathedral that was at the UK Pavilion for the Shanghai World Expo in 2010. It sits at the center of the UK Pavilion site and is formed from 60,000 slender, transparent fiber optic rods, each encasing one or more seeds at its tip. During the day, they draw daylight inwards to illuminate the interior. At night, light sources inside each rod allow the whole structure to glow. As the wind moves past, the buildings and its optic hairs gently move to create a dynamic effect. Long live graffiti. Next time you walk, don't forget to look down. Even if you don't return with paint spray cans, you can imagine what you do with that manhole cover. In what could be interpreted as a tongue-in-cheek warning about not wearing a mask during the times of COVID, residents of Totterdown, Bristol, awoke to a new mural by the elusive artist Banksy. The work depicts an old pensioner sneezing her dentures out while subsequently knocking down an entire row of houses. A staged photo shared by the artist includes a tumbling man being knocked asunder by the German gust. A wide shot reveals the location as Vale Street noted for being the steepest street in Britain at an angle of 22 degrees. Though mostly known for his trompe-l'oeil lettering, Portuguese street artist Odith has recently been adding larger-than-life insects to his repertoire. Many of the wall-based works are placed in corners and require careful planning to achieve an anamorphic effect. Anamorphosis is a distorted projection requiring the viewer to occupy a specific vantage point, use special devices, or both to view a recognizable image. It is used in painting, photography, sculpture, and installation, toys, and film special effects. Street artist Blue, that's BLU, just wrapped up work on this monumental mural on the streets of Rabibia, Rome. The painting depicts a clump of technicolor greenery as it swallows the facade of a 7-story residential building and is part of a series of works by a neighborhood group called Mammut that is trying to redevelop abandoned green spaces throughout the city. This video is called The Faults. It's by a Chinese artist who calls himself Particle. Quote, "Mountains are huge creatures on a scale of billions of years. I want to present a look at the changes in mountains, not only in the form of growth, but also in the form of fractures and destruction." Also, this work is an exploration of how to achieve the rougher yet expressive brushstrokes used in traditional Chinese landscape painting to express the texture of mountains and rocks. Vo Trong Nghia, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, Architects, has designed a layered home encased in a perforated ceramic wall with a series of elevated gardens that function as a natural cooling system. Located in the pottery village of Bat Trong in Vietnam, the architects designed the 5-story Bat Trong house to represent the pottery and ceramic heritage of the town. The house was built for a 7-person family that wanted a home that was intertwined with nature while also functioning as a ceramics shop. Now let's take a little swim through some gorgeous photography. This is by Oleg Gaponyak of the Russian Federation, and it won third place in the Underwater Photographer of the Year competition in 2021. For those of you who wonder, I imagine the photographer is standing in the water with his lens half submerged and half above the surface of the water. This is part of a project called water.shapes.earth by photographer Milan Radicics. It turns the meandering waterways all over the world into amazing visuals on the border between abstract and documentary. Their beauty makes you rethink how important water is and how much we should all try to save it. This is a riverbed and salty marsh near Coruna in northern Spain. Grasses and tidal channels on one of the 62 small islands in the salt marsh of Lagoon, Venice. This is the estuary of Coron Duché in France. If you look closely, you can see the bathers. This is the work of photographer Gareth Pon, P-O-N, from South Africa. His photos play up unusual perspectives and geometries often hidden from the eye of a passerby. This photograph won the Sony World Photography Awards, third place, also in 2021, and it's called Hymn of the Building Site by Guangyu Zhu. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Guanghui, and his last name is Jiu. Quote, I often visit this building site in Ningkai County, Zhejiang Province, China, for work reasons. Using a drone, I photograph them to show the work that takes place each day. And this is just one of those photographs. They're all amazing. This is in Bulgaria. It's called The Salt of the Sea, and it's by Yavor Michev, M-I-C-H-E-V. It shows people bathing in healing salts near Burgas, Bulgaria, and it's the winner of the 2019 Sony World Photography Competition. It's amazing how those trees, bushes, whatever they are, around the peripheries of this piece function as an ornate gold frame. The Infinite Galaxy puzzle has no beginning or end. It is a new type of jigsaw that tiles continuously. No fixed shape, no starting point, and no edges. It can be assembled in thousands of different ways. The tiles flip, and pieces from one side attach to the other side after turning it over, like a Mobius strip. This puzzle is adorned with a photograph of Westerlund 2 from the Hubble Space Telescope. Since the image is continuous from one side of the surface to the other, it can't be seen all at once. This design also features special space-themed whimsy pieces, an astronaut, space shuttle, and the International Space Station. You might be able to make out some of those, especially as they've been separated. In otherworldly botanicals, Lindsay Rickert blankets sword ferns, a sprig of eucalyptus, dahlias, and other florals in a wash of vivid candy-colored light. The Portland-based photographer created these entirely in camera. The series frames the flowers at their peaks and is shot with studio lights covered in gel paper. Well, drawing to a close, between November 2020 and March 2021, artist Jörg Gleischer spent his days in a secluded location near Hamburg where he gathered dead wood and constructed 9 massive crests, the largest of which spans 13 feet high and 30 feet wide, that overwhelm the forest floor in undulating layers of branches and twigs. Each iteration, which he photographed and then promptly destroyed in order to reuse the materials, overwhelms the existing landscape with pools of the formerly thriving matter to create a truly enchanted forest. Well, I guess you can guess what time it is. It's time to say goodbye. So I want to thank you all so much for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will be messaging each of you, everybody on the attendee list, a link to a Google Doc that I created, which has all the artists' URLs and related links so that you may learn more on your own if you wish. Bye-bye.